Let's get into it. AEW Dynamite. This is scheduled for one fall. Has a 10-minute time limit, though. Like the tag team rules in the AEW, we will be very flexible. All right? Let's get into it. All right, so AEW Dynamite, it kicked off with a tag team match. The champions, Hangman and Omega, they're not a real tag team, so I can't wait till they're not the champions anymore, especially where there's actually a somewhat strong tag team division in AEW. They faced off against Havoc and Sabian had his manager. I can never remember her name.
Penelope Ford.
But Penelope factored into the match. You
She
know,
always does.
yeah, I mean my notes on this one is just it's pretty hectic. It was a pretty hectic match overall. The referee though it's the same thing, but the referee in this match they don't really enforce tag team rules. Like Kenny Omega will tag in Hangman Page, and Kenny Omega will stay in there, take his time, coordinate with Page their tag team spots. Next thing you know, he's in there 45 seconds, and the ref just
Right.
stops. Ref
There's
stops
no
count.
count at all. Nothing going on. No count. No nothing. There's
Yeah,
just no kind of. And the tags are so loose and lenient as well as to what. There's no tag rope. It seems like they have in everywhere. But
yeah.
yeah, I I love the tag division. I just wish they'd use the referees, not make the referees look so stupid all the time and look so stuck
Yeah,
for something to do.
yeah, and the ref even started the count a couple of times when Omega came in, and just stopped. Like he'd get to like seven, right?
Yeah,
And you're not
yeah,
even supposed to be able to get that high, I don't think. But
right, right.
and then
Five is supposed to be the count.
he would just stop exactly. Sabian is a really fun wrestler. I find I like watching him, and he does. I don't know if he regularly does this. It's my first time seeing it. He did a reverse Hurricane Rana that was awesome.
Yeah,
Um, and if only Kenny Omega sold it for more than 2 seconds.
yeah.
My gosh, I mean, it was a devastating move. FTR and the best friends were outside watching, so obviously they're both angling at a shot at the titles, and ultimately, I mean this match basically went the way that I expected it to. I wasn't, like I said, there were some fun spots to watch. But again, and maybe I listened to too much Jim Cornette, but just the fact that the tag team rules only exist when it's convenient, and then otherwise, it's just it's a wild. You don't know what's going on. So
Once you have it pointed out to you, you can't help but notice that the tag team rules aren't enforced. You can't avoid it, and it's not a complaint of just Cornette. It was pretty universal ever since AEW began. Was the complaint about the tag team rules, and one of the teams I don't think you've seen yet is the Lucha Brothers, who are absolutely ignore every tag team rule going. They're great. They're fantastic in the ring.
mm-hmm.
But man, they don't follow they're very much lucha style wrestlers from Mexico, and that's where they originate. That's where they started. That's where they're from. Um, and they're fantastic. Like I said, they're a fantastic team, but it's a different style of wrestling in lucha in AAA where they started. I believe it was AAA. It could have been CML, but I think it was AAA. That they follow there than it is in the U.S. style of wrestling, North American style. So
Yeah.
it makes it hard to watch. Kip Sabian, to talk about him for a second, this was probably the best performance I've seen him have.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right about Omega. If Omega would sell anybody's move for longer than 2 seconds, it would be very helpful in his matches. It's almost like he's trying to go too fast.
Yeah.
He's got to slow down. He's got to slow things down. I love Kenny Omega. I think his matches are great, but that's one thing that really bothers me is his selling, and the fact that him and Hangman aren't really a tag team. I'm expecting the explosion of them to fight over maybe eventually the heavyweight belt or one of the belts
Right.
in a feud of some kind. But I don't know when that'll be because I expected that to be before kind of the CV19 took over everything.
Mm-hmm.
And when he had the title, or when did he have the title? I believe he had the title.
Yeah.
Um, but well, yeah, I think they're going to have a great feud once it happens. I think they'll put on a great match together. a couple of matches, maybe. Hopefully, if we get out of it, get a good feud out of them.
Yeah,
Uh,
hope so, and I hope that kicks off sooner rather than later. To be honest with you,
yeah,
because
yeah.
the tag team titles are meaningless with them, in my opinion. I'm just not interested in it. So, um,
And the best friends are going to get the next tag title match, I believe, at Fighter Fest, or they're getting a tag title match at Fighter Fest,
right.
which will be against Paige and Omega. And I hope the best friends take those titles because, like you said, it's nice to see a team, like a solid team that's been together and are a team that have an actual name.
Yeah,
More so than I never expected Havoc or Sabian to take the title simply because
they're
they're not a tag team either. They're
exactly.
kind of paired together because there's nothing else to do with them right at the moment,
Yeah,
which is okay. That's fine to do. Put them on TV and get them in matches, get them on TV, get them, try to make something out of it. But hard to take them seriously when you're watching them as a
agreed.
tag team.
Yeah, agreed. All right. Next up, there was a promo. Now, I wanted to ask you about this because I didn't actually realize that Tully Blanchard was involved in the AEW. So Tully Blanchard is apparently with, I believe it's Shawn Spears,
Yeah,
and basically, I guess this is what I gathered from the promos. This Shawn Spears is a promising wrestler, can't quite get it together or can't quite care enough about it, and Tully Blanchard has been trying to get him there. Unlock that potential. And they end up in a limousine of some sort, and Tully Blanchard says, "I think I found the answer," and he gives him some black MMA style
a black
gloves.
glove. Yeah, a black glove. One black glove.
Yeah.
Some symbol. There's a lot of symbolism going on in that. Um, First, to get to the Tully Blanchard stuff, Tully's been there pretty much since the beginning of AEW.
Okay.
I think he was there at the beginning, pretty sure. And he was paired with Spears. And before the pandemic broke out, they were looking for a tag team partner for Spears, and they had an actual search online that you could apply and put your videos in to be Shawn Spears' partner,
Hmm.
which was kind of cool. It was kind of neat, something different. But once the pandemic broke, that was kind of the end of that gimmick. It fell through. So what Tully now, what I believe the angle is going to be is to make Shawn Spears is calling himself Heartless,
Okay.
and Spears is he's not a young wrestler by any means. He's been around for quite a while. I think he's 38, 37, 38 years old, but he's still never. You're right. He's never been able to put it together. He's never been able to find that niche that made him get over as a wrestler.
Right.
But he's always been very good in the ring. So Tully is trying to get him to be more heartless, more broken, if you will, just to kind of connect to Matt Hardy a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I think they'll have any connection in any way at all, but he's trying to get him in that I don't care state. I'm going to do whatever it takes to win a match, and I'm going to put it all on the line. The black glove, I had to look it up myself to find out what's the deal with the black glove. And the limousine, to me, is a connection to the Four Horsemen back in the day when Tully they always were in a limousine ride and jet flying, all that, the Ric Flair spiel. Right. The glove was a throwback to Barry Windham, who was one of the Four Horsemen, who wore a black glove
Yeah.
when he turned heel.
The Widowmaker.
And
Yeah.
right. And not just him, but also Kane was another guy who wore a black glove all the time when he'd fight, which is another heel character. So it's a connection to all these heel characters over the years that have worn the black glove, just one single black glove, to make them. I don't know what the power of a single black glove is. I guess I should try it out myself to see what'll happen. But yeah, that's what the connection is. I think is to Barry Windham and another connection to the Four Horsemen.
I see. Okay. Um. All right. Well, we'll see where that goes. Next up, Brian Cage match against Shawn Dean, I believe. And my notes are the same as last week. It was a complete squash. Then Taz comes in and cuts a promo on Moxley. Great little tagline here: "Beat him if you can, survive if he lets you." I feel like Taz used to say similar things like that when he was a wrestler.
Exactly.
Moxley comes out, does his Moxley thing. I wish I liked John Moxley more. I don't have a lot
It's
to
too
say
bad you
about
don't.
that. Yeah.
It's too bad you don't. I like John Moxley. I'd like it if they let him be the John Moxley that he could be back when he was in the independent days, but that would be tough because he was just a nut. Like he was off his rocker, um, and he was actually in a group called the Switchblade Conspiracy, which he was the leader of, and he was in CZW, and he was in all those hardcore matches, those crazy over the top matches that we watched with Mance Warner. Um, and he was one of those type of guys. But he's also a very good wrestler at the same time in the ring when he wants to. He has to be almost inspired though, and it's tough to find. It's tough to find a match where he's wrestled inspired in a long time, and it's starting to come around now. I think because he was used in the WWE for years as Dean Ambrose, which was he was so poorly used and so poorly part of the Shield. That he was just that third wheel that never clicked with that group. I didn't find.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll come around on him. And next up, another promo style where we come across Archer and Jake the Snake, and Archer is in a construction site of some sort. It seemed like beating somebody up, and then they cut a promo, and I've got nothing else to say really. Other than I guess what they're trying to portray there is that Archer is getting so out of control that he's even scaring Jake, which is a little odd. I mean, it's a very quick turn from where it last was. So, unless you have
I am not an Archer fan. Not an Archer fan at all. I don't like him. I can't get into him at least a little bit.
Yeah. Now, then we get another interesting little skit, vignette, if you will. We have Private Party and Matt Hardy. Now, this is not broken Matt Hardy that walks in the room. It's Matt. It's ladder match Matt Hardy. Comes in, asks one of Private Party how his injury is doing and so on. They have this really odd back and forth, like I love you, you love me, kind of back and forth thing, and I want to help you guys out. And next thing you know, it's a Hardy party, which was great. So that was interesting, I guess. Like Matt Hardy's going to sort of take them under his wing a little bit. Maybe. Hardy leaves, comes across Sammy Guevara in the hallway, and he's not broken Matt, and it almost seems like Sammy's like, who's this guy? And all he says is, hey, we're cool, man, we're cool. That's what Hardy says to Sammy.
Yeah.
And that's the end.
Respect.
So, respect. Yeah.
And the Guevara part was the best part of that whole promo. I found it all awkward with Private Party.
It was weird.
And, it was very strange and very awkward. Couple minutes having the conversation with them with the big love fest going on. And I like Private Party. I just I don't feel they have a whole lot of direction going on with what they are supposed to be and who are they supposed to be and what are they, other than a really talented athletic tag team.
Right. Well, both of them may have a future that involves getting their heads dunked into the pool of reincarnation, and they may come out as a completely different. Maybe Hardy Party will be born, and Hardy Party might be something odd. So we'll see what's going on there.
They come out as the original Hardy Boys, dressed up in the pre,
the checkered.
Yes. The almost jobber Hardy Boys.
Super jobbers, exactly. Yeah. You know what? I actually hope. We should be booking the AEW, man. Could we do any worse?
No. I don't know.
No, I'm not going to sit here and hate on the AEW that much.
No, they do a pretty good job. WWE, we could do better.
Yeah. Next up is the moment of the night. Jericho and the Inner Circle come out, and I mean, let's touch really quickly on how they came out. The cheerleaders come out, and then Vicky Guerrero comes out dressed as a cheerleader, with her voice in full force.
Yeah.
She introduces them one by one. Clearly, they were in on that. Like, they enjoyed the fact that she introduced them. Still don't understand the point of this, but of Vicky's presence, but that's fine.
Yeah.
They come out. Jericho is fuming. calling for the baddest man on the planet after the ridiculous ending of Dynamite the week before. He wants the baddest man on the planet. He keeps saying it over and over again. Kind of a cliched setup. Like everybody knew, okay, Tyson isn't coming out, but somebody is that considers themselves the baddest man on the planet. They planted some seeds when last week, and it happened. And so out comes Orange Cassidy, strolls to the ring, takes his time, walks up to Jericho, takes both of Jericho's hands and puts them in his pockets, though Jericho was wearing his tights, so there was no pockets, so he just kind of put them in his belt. And anyway, there was a quick little exchange. Orange ends up out of the ring, backs up to the rail. The best friends pick him up, take him out. That's it. That's the promo. What do you think? I loved the entire moment.
I never even thought of Orange Cassidy coming out, so when he did,
you didn't?
I thought it. I didn't even think about it.
I saw it coming. I knew after he walked through their interview, and Jericho was very angry with him that we would see them cross paths again soon. So sorry to interrupt you, but I actually did think it was going to be Orange Cassidy. Yeah.
It never crossed my mind. I forgot about the week before. I forgot about the little interaction. It never, it was so small, but it was funny.
Yeah.
But it was so small the week before that I never thought about it. And then when he came out, man, I thought that was hilarious. The baddest man on the planet. I hope he uses that as a tagline from now on.
Yeah.
To go along with the Kicks of Doom. So that'll be good stuff. I hope they have a match. Oh, well, I'm pretty sure they're going to have a match at Fyter Fest too. Yeah. Which should be great.
Yeah. The next little bit is more Britt Baker stuff. A promo of her training, like she's on her wheelchair pulling a weight and stuff like that. And then Big Swole comes out and fights Nyla Rose. And the ending of that match ends with Britt Baker up near the entrance, screaming and yelling at Big Swole. So there's clearly a feud starting there. I've got no other analysis of that. I kind of tuned out during that match.
Nope. That's you got it. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Put Nyla Rose, keep her strong, keep her looking strong after losing the title.
Yeah.
I'm assuming she's going to have a rematch with Sheeta. Britt Baker needs someone to fight. Big Swole is just starting her career, getting out, and that'll be try to get them going in a little feud, get something going more with the ladies division, which it needed work. It needs help. It needs a boost because it's been very bland and very boring and very not fun to watch outside of whatever goes on for the title. And even that hasn't been all that great. So I was glad to see something happen with Britt Baker. And I think her gimmick right now, she started out as a face and it sucked. It just plain sucked. She wasn't a good face. And then when they turned her heel and she went off on Tony Schiavone a few times, it was funny, and now she's doing a much better job as a heel. She's a much better character that you can get into, and this role model with her Rolls Royce and her car, her wheelchair after her injury, and I think she's legitimately injured, is actually I don't know. It's funny. It's good. It's good to see them trying to do something with the women's division, get it better. So I'm not greatly into it, but I'm glad they're doing something.
Yeah, for sure. After that, yet another promo. Tony Schiavone meets up with Darby Allin. Darby Allin's doing a creepy little staring down revenge promo thing. Says life's one big joke, but I'll get the last laugh. And that's the end of that promo. So great.
Yeah.
All right.
I forget who he was talking about. Do you remember? Did you take note on that?
I forget, but I know that it was whoever injured him.
Right.
The casino ladder match.
Right.
So whoever it was.
Darby Allin. I love Darby Allin. He's crazy. I love the character that he portrays. I think he's going to be a big star. They've bred him a long way since the AEW began, and he's got a lot further to go. I think he's going to be one of the guys they build for a long time.
Yeah.
He's had some great matches with Cody. Their feud is probably one that's going to last a long time. But yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with him next, to see what they put him through at Fyter Fest and see what he comes out with.
Yeah. And speaking of Cody, then next up is just the main event. I'll get you to tell me about the main event.
Oh, FTR. Don't forget about FTR.
Oh, sorry, we did have the FTR interview. So, well, let's really quickly. We get an FTR interview. We'll recap that in a second. The main
Yeah.
event is Cody defending the TNT Championship against Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy won the right to do it for that in the Battle Royal last week. Cody bled. He cut
Sure
him.
did.
He cut himself in this one. Pretty good.
He got
Yeah, it seemed like a pretty decent match to me, though. We were in a hurry to get going on this, so I kind of went through it quickly. Saw the finish. Saw a couple of major moments in it, but seemed like a good match.
very solid match. Jungle Boy looked really good in it, put on a good show. Cody, of course, was Cody. He's always consistent with his matches. I'm excited to see what they do with this TNT title each week, to see how long this open challenge lasts and what they can do with it.
Yeah.
But I hope it's not the main event every week as it was this week.
Yeah.
I have no interest in that. I hope they do some other stuff, and I'm sure they will. They're creative enough that they've come up with that'll get tired quick.
I also hope it's not babyface versus babyface so often. Like, I want a heel in there. I want some real heat between Cody and who he's defending it against versus, a great fought match where they basically embrace at the end of it, and there's, their buddy at the end and congratulating each other on the match.
I'm hoping Cody turns heel. I want to see Cody turn heel and be a heel champion and have that go on in the in AEW right now. I think him as a heel, it would be some good work, some good stuff to see, some good stuff to watch, as opposed to, like you said, the face versus face stuff that really is not that, so much lovey-dovey stuff. We saw it already with Hardy in the Private Party. We're seeing it again here at the end with Jungle Boy and Cody, even though they put on a great match, and there was parts where Jungle Boy really was fierce. As soon as he cut him open, he went after that cut, and it looked cool. It was great. I enjoyed the match very much.
Yeah.
And I think Jungle Boy is another guy that's got a very bright future ahead of him. I think he's going to be a big star too.
Hate the gimmick. I hate the gimmick. Which really, the gimmick is just he is himself, but he calls himself. But the name is stupid. I think that's what it is. The name is stupid. I don't like it.
You don't like
it. And I like that they start to throw in his real name after it from time to time now, like Jungle Boy, and then they say his name. Maybe to eventually just transition him to using his name, but that's fine.
Seemed to be Jim Ross is the only one who tends to use that the most, and I think Jim Ross feels the same way. This is a stupid name. He's Luke Perry's son. Let's call him what he is. He's Jack Perry. Everybody knows who he is.
Yeah.
It's not a surprise, to hear his real name shouldn't be a surprise. And I think, JR being JR, and I think he doesn't like a lot of the stuff that goes on, but he sees the crowd reaction. He sees people behind it. He reads the internet, I'm sure, and here's what people are feeling about it. And, it's kind of like Orange Cassidy. I'm sure he's not a big Orange Cassidy fan either, but it's such a great gimmick to watch that it's not a traditional thing, but JR is kind of a traditional guy.
Yeah, for sure. And let's wrap this up with the FTR interview. So Shivani sits down with FTR. FTR goes through, why they're there in the AEW, praises a whole bunch of different tag teams, purposely leaves out the Young Bucks. They get asked about the Young Bucks. They show their disdain for the Young Bucks. They explain what FTR stands for, which is pretty funny because at the end, Shivani goes, "You know what I thought it stood for," and it was basically what you told me it stood for. But yeah, I like how it has many meanings for them, at least the way they explained it. And then they what's the other tag team?
The Butcher and the Blade.
Yes, Butcher and Blade.
And that'll be a good feud too. I'm looking forward to those matches. The Butcher and the Blade is a cool tag team that made a cool to me it was a cool introduction. It got a lot of hate from a lot of people when they got introduced into the AEW. What they did was they jumped Cody after a match and just kind of appeared out of nowhere. They were actually the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny. And the Bunny is, if you saw the clips with QT Marshall and the blonde woman making out with him or seducing him in some way with the Zapple and all that stuff, that's the Bunny. That's Allie.
Okay.
and yeah, she's actually married to the Blade. Uh, so yeah, I'm excited to see where that goes. I'm excited to see FTR finally get in the ring and get the attention they deserve that they didn't get in WWE.
Right. Now it seems like they're portraying heels a little bit, but I don't think they're going to get any heat from this. I think everybody's going to love them.
I think so too. I think there'll be tweeners, if you will, the Steve Austin, The Rock type
Yeah.
kind of love hate relationship they're going to get. They might hate the fans, but the fans are going to love them, and it's not, no matter what they do, it's going to way it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll wrestle as heels though. I think they'll wrestle a heel style, more so than the face style that we'll see from a lot of the teams.
Yeah, they made that like when they were referencing the Lucha brothers that you were talking about. They basically said those guys, are the complete opposite of everything we stand for in tag team wrestling.
Absolutely, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, all right. Well, that is AEW Dynamite for June the 3rd.
That's right.